Part 14. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 135. Actually, he actually used boiling escape. Terumi May couldn't believe her eyes. It's obvious that Feidu is the limit of her blood inheritance, right? Why is Hinata Naruko using it stronger than her original owner now? Not only did she use Feidu to display a strange power jutsu. Now, she has performed such a wide range of the cow mist jutsu at once. To be fair, if she had to perform it by herself, it would be difficult to perform such a wide range of the cow mist jutsu. A ninjutsu within the limits of blood succession. Because it involves the fusion of two chakra attributes. The consumption of chakra is much higher than that of ordinary ninjutsu. Moreover, to perform such a wide range of clever mist techniques at once requires extremely high chakra control. High boiling release adds fire attribute chakra to water attribute chakra. Because of the addition of unstable fire attribute chakra, boiling release ninjutsu becomes far more difficult to control than water release ninjutsu. Water release ninjutsu can easily reach a range of tens of meters or even hundreds of meters. But her boiling escape is due to the addition of fire attribute chakra. Even if the boiling blast is used at full strength, it can only have a range of tens of meters at most. And now, Hyuga Naruko's clever mist technique directly covered the hundreds of meters of bone forest. Moreover, the intensity of the boiling escape was not weakened at all due to the increase in range. Bone spurs more than 10 meters high were covered in the acid mist fragile as soil, broken one after another. Is Feidu so strong? A look of surprise flashed in Orochimaru's eyes. In the fight between Kaguya clan leader and Hinata Naruko just now, the strength of the bone veins has been fully demonstrated. The bone spurs are so hard that even the Kusanagi sword cannot cut them off several times. It was only under Hyuga Naruko's strange power that the defense of the bones was broken. However, now under the acid mist, the corpse's bone veins were easily corroded. Hyuga Naruko was not much surprised by this. The corrosive effect of boiling release, far superior to the melting release. Even Susanoo will melt quickly under the acid mist of the boiling release. Not to mention the corpse bone veins. How is this possible? Chief Kaguya's aura became weaker and weaker, and he looked at the gradually disappearing bone forest with a look of disbelief in his eyes. Defeat the Kaguya clan leader, chakra points add 400. Hinata Naruko looked at the Kaguya clan leader who was gradually losing his vitality. Although the opponent used ninjutsu like Hayabari no Mai. However, after it was displayed, it almost lost its combat effectiveness. The speed has dropped significantly, and it is difficult to carry out any effective attacks anymore. Now, there is no need for Hinata Naruko to take action. The leader of the Kaguya clan has already gone to his own death. The stronger the veins of the corpse's bones, the closer they are to killing the ashes together, and the closer they are to death. In the distance, dozens of ninjas were gradually approaching. The fourth Mizukage Goju Yagura and Kirigakure's Umbu finally arrived. Everyone had bright red blood stains on them. Obviously, they all went through a lot of battles before coming here. As soon as Goju Yagura arrived, she saw this strange scene at the scene. A large number of corroded and collapsed bone forests, as well as the diffuse fog. Early fern dance. Someone in the Kaguya clan actually used this trick. Tachibana Yagura frowned. As a Mizukage, he still knows the strongest move of the Kaguya clan. The dense and pale white bone forest is like a forest. However, he has never seen Kaguya. The clansmen successfully performed the early fern dance. Lord Mizukage, the Kaguya clan has rebelled. Terumi May immediately came forward and explained the matter clearly. Was this boiling style performed by the fifth Hokage? Goju Yagura nodded, not surprised. In his opinion, since the other party has mastered Feidu, it is not an unacceptable thing to master another Feidu. And in the three-tailed state, after being caught by Hinatan Nariku's big Buddha and thrown out. His awe for Hinatan Nariku has reached an unparalleled level. In his opinion, if Kirigakure village still wants to continue to exist, don't have any thoughts of fighting with Konoha. However, the Umbu behind him was not so calm. If they weren't wearing masks, their shocked expressions might have been shown directly. When did it become so easy to master the limits of a blood inheritance? Why is Terumi considered the most suitable to succeed the Mizukage? It's not because of the strength brought by mastering the two blood inheritance limits. If they can also master the boundaries of multiple blood successors in this way, it may not be a delusion to peak at the position of Mizukage. Umbu, destroy all the ninjas of the Kagaya clan who participated in the rebellion. Gaji Yagura looked around and ordered without any emotion in his eyes. Yes. The Kirigakure Umbu did not hesitate and took action directly. However, Yagura himself did not personally participate in the action. Terumi, you have to prepare to take over the Mizukage position in advance. Shiju Yagura rubbed his temples and said a little tiredly. He obviously looked like a child. But now, he seemed to be explaining the funeral arrangements. Terumi didn't know what was going on and stayed where she was in shock. Although Yagura said before that he might not live long, it wouldn't be so soon, right? As if knowing Terumi's question, Goda Kibana Yagura explained in a tired tone. Rebellions broke out in too many places tonight. If we just let the Umbu suppress it, the manpower will be completely insufficient. His spirit body has become extremely weak because he has been controlled by illusions for many years. If he chooses to rest, he may be able to live for a few more years. But tonight, in order to suppress the rebellion, he had to use all his strength. And as a result, he is now on the verge of collapse. Those who have taken refuge in the masked man, or those controlled by him, have basically launched a rebellion tonight. After this cleanup, Kirigakure village should be much cleaner. The people controlled by the masked man were almost wiped out this time. In this case, I have no regrets. It can be regarded as making up for my previous mistakes as much as possible. Although he made so many crazy moves because he was controlled. But, as the shadow of a village, he was secretly controlled. This is the biggest mistake, and it is what he should be responsible for. If I have any regrets, it's just that I still don't know who the masked man is and I haven't been able to seek revenge from him. Speaking of this, a little emotion finally appeared on Goju Yagura's face. Emotions of anger and resentment. It was all that damn masked man who controlled him and made Kirigakure into a mess. If you want revenge on him, give me some of your blood. Hyuga Nariku suddenly said. Goju Yagura was stunned for a while, and then without hesitation, he took out the kunao and opened his arm. Although I don't know what Hokage Dano is going to do, I believe that Hokage Dano doesn't mean to tease me. Hyuga Nariku collected a little of Yagura's blood and nodded. If he takes away the three tails and reincarnates the Goju Yagura Jutsu in the future, then what should Obito do if he wants to collect the three tails chakra? Or either capture the tailed beast directly, or get the chakra from the reincarnated Jinchuriki. The three tails, Obito can't get it? Yagura, the three-tailed Jinchuriki, was also reincarnated by him in advance. Let me ask, Obito, what should we do? You know, before Yagura, there was a three-tailed Jinchuriki. And that person, Obito, is all too familiar to him. Call. Seeing that Hinatan Nariku had no intention of explaining and didn't care, Goju Yagura said. In this case, then I will directly fulfill my promise to you. Before, Hyuga Nariku told him that he would take away the three tails before he died. If he was forced to agree before, now, Hyuga Nariku promised to help him take revenge on the masked man, and he was reluctantly willing to do so. 1 point. Besides, his current situation cannot be delayed any longer. In his current state, he may die at any time. The three tails will probably take advantage of his weakness to break through the seal. After saying that, Goju Yagura did not hesitate. Directly pressed the seal on his abdomen, and released the seal. Illusory chakra gushes out from his abdomen like fluid. Roar! The three tails fluttered wildly, and the huge three tails appeared. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 136. The three-tailed Isobutsu, who had just broken out of the seal, stared at Goju Yagura with hatred in his eyes. In the past, the relationship between Sanbai and Yagura was good. Even Godakibana Yagura has become the perfect Jinchuriki who can fully control the power of the tailed beasts. However, before, Godakibana Yagura promised to hand over the three tails before he died. This relationship is completely broken. Even in his increasingly weak state, Goju Yagura had to forcibly suppress the seal on the three tails. Otherwise, Sanwei would probably take advantage of his poor condition to break the seal and escape. Sanwei Isofu's huge eyes stared at Go Tachibana Yagura, but the next second, it saw Hinatan Nariku next to it. The huge body of Sanwei couldn't help but tremble. The scene where Hinatan Nariku picked up the 1,000-armed Buddha and threw it out was really impressive to him. Senju Hashirama has never beaten it like this. Subconsciously, Sanwei wanted to run away. Facing a ninja of this level, even if it is a tailed beast, I don't think it has any chance of winning. Want to run? The corners of Hyuga Nariku's mouth raised slightly, and he formed a seal in his hand. Would escape, the art of wood dragon. Crash! The huge wooden dragon rose from the ground beside the three tails and suddenly wrapped it around the three tails. Damn it! It's this trick again. The three-tailed Isotoko stared at the wooden dragon wrapped around it with a ferocious expression, but there was nothing he could do. Back then, Senju Hashirama was the one who subdued him with just one move of the wooden dragon technique. The chakra on it flowed uncontrollably towards the wooden dragon. After absorbing its chakra, the wooden dragon became stronger and stronger, and its entanglement became tighter and tighter. The huge torso was completely restrained, and in desperation, the three-tailed Isofu could only use his back three tails to tear the wooden dragon wrapped around it. You can still move, which is good. Hyuga Nariku commented softly, and then raised his palm. Chi chi chi. Three tall giant black sticks shot out from his hands. The huge waving tails were nailed to the ground by the giant yin-yang escape black sticks. The three tails were horrified. It was discovered that after being nailed by that strange black rod, its chakra was completely out of control. And the wooden dragon was still absorbing its chakra continuously. The tailed beast, which was obviously considered a symbol of disaster, has now become its like a chakra battery. The three tails were subdued so easily. Terumi May murmured to herself in a daze. She thought that even if she didn't need the 1,000-armed Buddha, she would at least need the hundreds of meters tall wooden man to subdue the three tails. Unexpectedly, it was just a simple wooden figure. The dragon directly bound the three tails in place. And that strange black rod made the three tails completely lose their ability to resist. Really? Tachibana Yagura gasped rapidly. His life force was passing away rapidly. Terumi May, remember, don't let conflicts break out between Kumogakure and Konoha. This is the last thing he can explain. If Kumogakure wants to survive, it must do this. Yes, Lord Mizukage. Terumi May nodded in a confused mood. No wonder Yagura would be willing to hand over the three tails as the village's strategic weapon. Facing a strong man of this level, it makes no difference whether there is a three tails in Kumogakure village. Un Orochimaru, who was hiding far away, looked at the black rod shot out of Hinatan Nariku's hand, and his pupils shrank. He felt that the black rod seemed familiar. That one was very similar to the black rod on Pain. What is that black stick used for? Is the black stick on pain the same as this one? Why is pain covered in those weird black rods? A lot of thoughts emerged in Orochimaru's mind. In the past, Orochimaru didn't pay much attention to the black rod on pain. After all, there are many people in the ninja world with strange costumes. Even if the whole body is covered with black rods, it doesn't matter. It's not too strange. But now, after seeing Hyuga Naruto using a similar black stick, Orochimaru couldn't stop thinking. He remembered clearly that Pain was the child named Yahiko back then. Back then, he and Jiraiya and Tsunade, one of the 3 children they met in the Land of Rain. And Konan, who is also a member of the Akatsuki organization, also proved this. The only thing missing from the 3 children back then was the red-haired kid. Orochimaru couldn't understand why Yahiko, an ordinary kid, had the Rinnegan eye of the Sage of 6 Paths. At this moment, Orochimaru suddenly saw something familiar again. Hinatan Naruto released from a seal scroll a white humanoid creature. That is. Orochimaru felt like his brain was shaking. That strange white creature is very similar to the guy named Zetsu in the Akatsuki organization. On Hinatan Naruto's side, he looked curiously at the shouting by Zetsu Afii. You're not dead yet. Hyuga Naruto sighed with some magical meaning. When he defeated the first generation of the Dirty Earth wrapped in Baiju Afei, he directly sealed Baiju Afei. However, what he didn't expect was that Baiju Afei was still alive. Normally speaking, if a living life form is sealed into a sealing scroll, it will definitely die. However, Afei in front of him is still alive and kicking. You disgusting piece of shit. Even if you die, I won't die. Baiju Afei yelled crazily. He doesn't even need to eat to stay alive. That's just right, I need you to cooperate with me in doing an experiment. The corners of Hyuga Naruto's mouth raised slightly, and the reincarnated eye chakra in his right hand gathered into a light blue sphere. What are you going to do? Baiju Afei subconsciously wanted to retreat, but the light blue sphere still penetrated into his body at a very fast speed. My body is out of control. Baiju Afei's single-cell brain finally there was a hint of panic. His hands began to form seals completely out of control. Si, Hi, Wei, Mao, Su, Zi, Yu, Wu, Si, all corpses and ghosts are sealed. After the seal was completed, Baiju Afei snapped his hands together. A desolate atmosphere came from nowhere. A huge shadow appeared behind Baiju Afei. Hinatan Naruto nodded with satisfaction. The one he used just now, it is the ability of the reincarnation eye to control other people's bodies. By injecting a spiritual ball of reincarnation eye chakra, you can control the body and will of others. And after he tried it just now, under his control, Baiju Afei successfully performed the corpse seal. All. What is this? What have you done to me? Baiju Afei saw the white-robed and red-horned god of death behind him. His brain has always been different from normal people, and he also felt an instinctive tremor. He will die. Even he will die. Please do me a favor. By the way, I am also curious whether you will die after casting the corpse seal. Hinatan Naruto said with a smile on his lips. The god of death stared at everyone present with a short knife in his mouth with saliva in his mouth. As expected, he is a brainless thing who only cares about eating but not fighting. Hyuga Naruto saw the god of death cast his greedy eyes on him, and slowly formed a seal in his hand, entering the reincarnation eye chakra mode. This strange thing, the god of death, now completely relies on instinct to act. Buzz. A dark jade of seeking Taoism is in his body. It was condensed in front of me. Almost instantly, the god of death became more honest. The gusts of evil wind it brought were also much lighter. Even the god of death, who had little consciousness, still remembered the trauma that Hinatan Naruto had brought to him. The previous one, the injuries caused to him by the strange golden sword, have not healed yet. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 137. What happened? Did you perform any ninjutsu just now? Terumi May looked behind Baijufe, but saw nothing. However, she clearly felt the aura of death and loneliness. It seemed that some extremely terrifying existence had appeared. The corpses were sealed away. The summoned god of death can generally only be seen by the caster. The corpses are sealed away, this is the god of death. Afei's voice was full of uncontrollable panic. The information left by Uchiha Madara recorded this forbidden technique originating from the Uzumaki clan. Communicate with the Shinigami who exists in a special space and sacrifice his soul. A powerful sealing technique that only one can perform. However, the information left by Uchiha Madara only records that there is such a forbidden technique. As for how to perform the corpse seal, there is no record. Yugai actually used me to summon the god of death. Afei is really scared. This is the god of death. This time, he is really not sure whether he can survive. The god of death, does such a thing really exist? Terumi May frowned. But, although you can't see anything, but she can also feel the breath of death and desolation. With such an aura, what else could he be but the god of death? Hope you can survive. That way I would be more interested in your way of being. The corners of Hyuga Nariku's lips curled up. Through Baiju Afei, he began to use the power of death. Snort. Baiju Afei groaned, and the illusory arm of the god of death penetrated from his abdomen and grabbed the three tails. At the same time, the feeling that his vitality and spiritual body were gradually weakening filled Afei's body. He finally feel the taste of death. Damn it! The illusory palm grabbed the three-tailed body. Although the three-tailed Isofa couldn't see the god of death, he could feel something grabbing it. Rise! Hyuga Nariku's palm suddenly clenched. A huge burst of chakra flew out from the body of the three-tailed Isofu. This chakra was also in the shape of the turtle of the three-tailed one. What's going on? The three tails were horrified to death. Its chakra was extracted. And this method of extraction is completely different from the previous absorption of the wooden dragon. The previous wooden escape wooden dragon, no matter how much chakra it absorbed, as long as it give it time, and it can return to its original state. But now, it's completely different. The three tails feel that their upper limit of chakra is decreasing. That illusory palm is not simply absorbing its chakra. To be precise, it should be dividing its chakra. If this chakra is torn away, it cannot rely on natural recovery to reach the original amount of chakra. If it wants to return to the original amount of chakra in the future, it can only restore it. Take back the chakra that was torn away. Sure enough, the essence is completely different. Hyuga Nariku narrowed his eyes slightly and sighed. During the Fourth Ninja War, Naruto also distributed the Nine Tails chakra to everyone in the Ninja Alliance. However, this chakra is limited. The distributed chakra after being consumed, it is gone immediately. It is impossible to recover again. And this method of division by the Shinigami can separate a small-tailed beast. Just like Minato Namikaze sealed it with ghouls and split the nine tails in half. The chakra of each of the two Kyuubi can be restored. The status of the god of death is indeed very high. Hinata Nariku couldn't help but sigh. If he was left to do it by himself, he could also cut the tailed beast in half. Physically, with his current strength, there is no way to separate the tailed beast into two independent individuals. After all, when the Six-Path Sage created the nine-tailed beasts, he had already reached the level of the blood successor snare. The palm of the god of death was still drawing away the chakra of the three tails. Suddenly, Hinata Nariku frowned. he discovered that a consciousness began to emerge from the three-tailed chakra that was constantly being withdrawn. After the amount of chakra reaches a certain level, consciousness is automatically born from the separated three-tailed chakra. Sure enough, Hyuga Nariku's eyes moved. The yin nine tails and the yang nine tails separated by Minato Namikaze have their own consciousness. Even Naruto's yang nine tails and Minato's yin nine tails can also communicate with each other, in another me, lend me some chakra. The separated tailed beast's birth consciousness seems to happen automatically. Hyuga Nariku frowned slightly and started to take action himself. Use the creative power of the 6th-level yin-yang done to repel that consciousness. The conscious tailed beast chakra will be a time bomb sooner or later. Even if the tailed beast is absorbed through the outside demon, chakra, the consciousness of these tailed beasts will not disappear. The tailed beast chakra in the body of Obito's 6 paths was once forcibly extracted. When Naruto beat Kaguya, the 9 tailed beasts were also in Kaguya's body. The violent response. For Hyuga Nariku, the tailed beast chakra without independent consciousness is the safest. Let's go back. Hyuga Nariku's eyes narrowed, and he took action with all his strength. The yin-yang escape of the 6 paths level suddenly drove back the separated consciousness of the 3 tails. The arm of the death god continued to withdraw the chakra of the 3 tails. What level of chakra is this? Terumi May next to her exclaimed in surprise. Hinata Nariku, who was bursting out with all his strength, was like a sun in her eyes. Could this be what he looked like when he took action seriously? However, Terumi May sadly discovered. She didn't even know that the other party was there now. No matter what she does, she can't understand. It seems that the other party is using a method that she can't understand, and fighting with some existence that she can't see. 3 tails, getting smaller. The Umbu of Kumogakure have just wiped out the rebellion of Wan Kaguya's clan. Some Umbu looked at the giant 3 tails, and their bodies seemed to be getting smaller and smaller. It's really smaller. Kirigakure's Umbu made everyone look stupid. I've heard of suppressing tailed beasts and sealing tailed beasts. But how is it possible to make the tailed beast's body smaller in this way? Is this the only way it can be done? Hyuga Nariku couldn't help but sigh. About half of the 3-tailed chakra had been extracted. If it were withdrawn any more, he would not be able to control the consciousness of the 3-tailed birth. Shaking his head, Hinata Nariku's right hand, 2 gray-green gourds suddenly appeared. This was created by him using the creation ability of Yin-Yang Dun, combined with Mu Dun. The arm of the death god grabbed the chakra of the 3 tails, and seemed to seal the half of the 3 tails in Baiju Fei body. Haha. Hinata Nariku chuckled. He forcibly controlled the arm of the death god, turned it around, and sealed half of the 3 tails into the gourd. This 3 tails is completely unconscious. This will become his promotion to the blood successor. Base. Damn it. Damn humans. The 3-tailed Aisatsu roared crazily. Its figure has shrunk very obviously. If it was 50 meters high before, it is now less than 40 meters. However, the arm of the god of death fell on it again on his body. The huge body seemed weightless in front of the god of death, and it was sealed into another gourd. P.S. When Minato sealed the Kyuubi, he took out half of the yin Kyuubi, and the remaining Kyuubi did become smaller. A ninja mentioned this in episode 469. Also, the 3-tailed chakra has been halved from 50 meters to 40 meters. Please calculate the volume. It is almost halved. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 138. After sealing the 3 tails, Hyuga Nariku immediately released his control over the Shinigami. Then, the god of death then set his sights on Baiju Fei, who was the caster. Ah! A shrill scream came from Fei's mouth. His consciousness and vitality were being sucked away quickly. The door of death was opening to him. "You, have a shit." Biju Fei spoke in an extremely weak tone. He was almost immortal, but now he finally met his death. After barely uttering the last words, Biju Fei's body disintegrated with a bang. It turned into white debris on the ground. He is still dead after all. Hyuga Nariku looked at the corpse on the ground and muttered to himself. The god of death had taken away all the yin-yang chakra from Biju Fei's body. Even for a special creature like Baizetsu. In this case, it can only be death. Not over. Terumi Mei said in a daze. She couldn't see the death god at all, and she didn't know what happened just now. The three tails had disappeared. Only the ferocious wooden dragon and three huge yin-yang escape black rods were left in place. However, the three-tailed chakra was extracted and sealed into two small gourds. Everyone present saw this. On the side, Goju Yagura had completely lost his life. After the three-tailed seal was broken, he could barely say the last few words. In a word, it is already very rare. The fourth generation is dead. The three tails were actually split into two halves. Can't we even protect the three tails? The Umbu of Kirigakure were a little distracted from exhaustion. They've been suppressing the rebellion tonight. Fight from one place to another. Finally came to the Kagaya clan. Now, they had exhausted almost all their energy. Bang bang. Orochimaru clapped his hands lightly and walked over slowly with the two children. He didn't take the Kirigakure ninja seriously at all. He is actually able to split the tailed beast in half. He is worthy of Nariku-kun. Is the one just now, the sealing of corpses and ghosts, a forbidden technique in the village? In Orochimaru's memory, he has never heard of this forbidden technique. He has not seen and learned all the ninjutsu in the sealed book. Hyuga Nariku glanced at Kimimaro, who was following Orochimaru step by step, and his eyes subtle. After such a period of time, Orochimaru deceived Kimimaro away. In addition, Haku had been abducted by Orochimaru before. He is truly the #1 trafficker in the ninja world. Orochimaru, how dare you come here? Terumi Mei couldn't help but shouted angrily. What, do you still have the strength to deal with me now? Orochimaru had a playful smile on his lips. In the state of the Kirigakure ninja present, he could do it even if he escaped with the two children Shiro and Kimimaro. Terumi Mei choked, but didn't know how to refute. The fourth generation Mizukage passed away just now. Among them, she is the only one who still retains some fighting power. However, she has also fought with the ninjas of the Kagaya clan for a long time. Mr. Hokage, the other party is a rebellious ninja in your village, aren't you going to do something? Terumi Mei said to Hinata Nariku with resentment. This is your Kirigakure matter. Hyuga Nariku had no intention of helping at all. What's more, I just fought with the ninjas of the Kagaya clan, so I did you a favor, right? Terumi Mei's expression was startled, and then she couldn't help but sigh. Indeed. If Hyuga Nariku and Orochimaru hadn't withstood a large number of Kagaya ninjas just now, she might have died under the bone spurs of the corpse vein alone. Haha. Orochimaru chuckled twice. Sure enough, it was still comfortable to be a rebel. In the past, he once secretly ran to Kumogakure village and unsealed the predecessor of the Eight Tails Jinhuriki, Brubi. At that time, he had not yet become the fourth Hokage. After breaking the eight-tailed horn, he went to secretly scrape off a little powder. These things could only be done secretly. Now, he can even directly enter Kirigakure village to abduct children. Shiro, Kimimaro, let's go. Yes, Lord Orochimaru ×2. Shiro and Kimimaro spoke respectfully, turned around and followed Orochimaru's footsteps. The Kirigakure Umbu sighed. After all, no one caught up. There are still a few members of the Kagaya clan left, and they hope to be able to revive in the future. Umbu said as if to comfort himself. The Kagaya clan did not rebel as a whole. There were still very few sane people who did not participate. Moreover, there are still some Kagaya clan members who have not become ninjas alive. After all, the Kagaya clan, although most of them are fighting madmen, there are a few normal people. If everyone were crazy, this group would have disappeared as early as the Warring States period. Why did the Kagaya clan rebel? Is anyone under the control of that masked man? Terumi. Mei frowned and said. The appearance of the Kagaya clan leader before did not look like he was bribed or controlled. Who knows, no one can understand the thoughts of the Kagaya clan. Maybe they just want to fight. It's not surprising that those fighting lunatics would do anything. The Kirigakure Umbu said in a flurry. The reputation of the Kagaya clan in Kirigakure is even worse than the reputation of the Uchiha clan in Konoha. If the Uchiha clan is just more aggressive than the Kagaya clan, they are just a group of bloodthirsty lunatics. Not to mention, in terms of appearance, most of the Kagaya clan is far worse than Uchiha. Terumi Mei nodded and did not dwell on this anymore. Today's rebellion came too suddenly. There was absolutely no time to figure out why these people rebelled. Gojo Yagura suppressed the rebellion before, relying only on himself and Kirigakure's Umbu. Kirigakure's Umbu were the first to be investigated to see if they had been control or bribe. Today, it has become Yagura's only trusted force. Well, the Kirigakure ninjas couldn't help but sigh. Big loss. This time, Orochimaru took away the two children. These two children are also descendants of the Yuki clan and the Kagaya clan respectively. Hinatan Naraku gets the three tails. For the masked man who controlled Yagura, at least the purpose of weakening Kirigakure was achieved. They were the only ones who vomited blood. Yagura, the Mizukage who could have held on for a while, finally couldn't hold on after repeated battles. Besides, the people killed in the rebellion were all their Kirigakure people. It can be said that Kirigakure's vitality was severely damaged this time. Sir Hokage, Kirigakure will strictly abide by the conditions of the peace agreement. Terumi. Mei said with a complicated mood. Now, she even hopes that Hinatan Naraku can stay in Kirigakure for a while. Even. It would be better to live in Kirigakure directly. With Hinatan Naraku, at least nothing big will happen to Kirigakure again. Trouble. In tonight's rebellion, the mysterious man who controlled the fourth generation did not appear. He should be worried about the existence of Hinatan Naraku. Otherwise, it would be even more difficult for them to put down tonight's rebellion. I hope your village can lend a helping hand when Kirigakure is in trouble. As he said that, Terumi Mei gritted his teeth. For this, Kirigakure is willing to pay the corresponding price. Looking at Hinatan Naraku who nodded lightly, Terumi Mei felt a sense of sadness. Kirigakure village has been reduced to what it is now. It can no longer maintain the majesty of the 5 great ninja villages. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 139. After seeing the corpse veins, Hyuga Naraku didn't stay in Kirigakure for too long and went back to Konoha. Corpse bone vein is not like the melting escape and the boiling escape, it is a blood inheritance limit that anyone can learn. But similar to Sharinan and Byakugan, the corpse bone veins of the Kagaya clan have a certain connection with Yang escape. With the stimulation of Yang escape chakra, their bones can grow crazily in a short period of time. But, in the final analysis, the corpse veins are derived from the ashes of Kagaya at Tsutsuki. Even if Hyuga Naraku maximizes Yang done, it will be difficult to reproduce the corpse veins on his body. Just like the Sharinan. He took Yin escape to the extreme and opened the reincarnation eye. The Sharinan and even the kaleidoscope were not turned on. After returning to Konoha, Narashikaku immediately came to find him. Kakashi was attacked. Hyuga Naraku was startled. This time is different from the expedition to Kumogakure. Kirigakure, whose opponent started the war inexplicably, does not need to be as harsh as Kumogakure. Therefore, the ninjas of Konoha, after staying in Kirigakure village for a period of time, directly left. Yes, Kakashi's Sharingan was taken away. Nara. Shikaku said somewhat incomprehensibly. But the strange thing is that the other party only took away Kakashi's eyes and did not kill him. Hyuga Naruto was startled. He would do this. Obito. Obito actually attacked Kakashi? Hyuga Naruto did not subconsciously confirm this conjecture. Although Obito is an alternative among the Uchiha clan who likes women. But for Kakashi he also attaches great importance to Kashi, a good friend. In the original work, Obito has too many opportunities to take back Kakashi's eyes. After the death of the fourth Hokage in Konoha, it is difficult for anyone to stop the powerful Uchiha Obito. But even so, in the original book, even in the fourth battle, Obito did not try to get back Kakashi's eye. In the end, when both eyes were gathered together, it was Uchiha Madara who snatched Kakashi away. The Sharingan was only completed. I'll go check on him. Hyuga Naruto nodded slightly, stood up, and went over. Soon, Hyuga Naruto arrived at the ward of Konoha Hospital. In the ward, Metkai was accompanying him. Naruto, you are back. Metkai's eyes lit up. Come and persuade Kakashi, this guy has been refusing to say who attacked him. When Kakashi saw Hinata Naruto coming in, he immediately stood up and bowed. Lord Hokage. We don't need to call each other that way anymore. Hyuga Naruto waved his hand. He, Kakashi, and Metkai were all students of the ninja school at the same time. It's just that Kakashi graduated a little early. Was the person who attacked you the one wearing the whirlpool mask? Hyuga Naruto said directly. No matter how you think about it, Obito is the most likely suspect. If it were someone else who wanted the Sharingan, the target would not necessarily be Kakashi. For example, Beirahuz and Amarajutsu wants the Sharingan. But the problem is, the Uchiha clan is still there. What's more, the other party only took away Kakashi's eyes, but did not kill him. Moreover, the other party still sneaked into the village quietly without being noticed. Took away Kakashi's eyes. Kakashi was silent for a while and nodded. Did you guess something and that's why you didn't want to say it? Hyuga Naruto continued to ask. Kakashi was silent for a long time, sighed and then said. I saw it with my own eyes. The other person's right eye is the Sharingan. Moreover, the other party's Sharingan seems to have a strange resonance with my left eye's Sharingan. Hyuga Naruto nodded, then suddenly changed the subject and said. I remember, when Obito entrusted you with the Sharingan, it was the second Megatama, right? Kakashi was startled and didn't understand what it meant. He subconsciously replied. It was indeed Megatama at that time. However, later, after Lin's incident, my eyes evolved into 3 Megatama. Did it really just evolve into a 3 Megatama? Hyuga Naruto asked softly. Uchiha's Sharingan needs great emotional stimulation to evolve from the 3 Megatama to the kaleidoscope. Kakashi thought about this in silence. He is now the Umbu minister of Konoha. He knows everything about the investigation of the mysterious masked man. Therefore, he also knew a lot about Uchiha's Mangekyo. What are you guys saying? Is Kakashi's attack related to Obito and Rin? Metkai scratched his head and didn't understand at all. There is a resonance between the two eyes, which means that the two eyes are probably a pair. What's more, it happens to be one on the left and one on the right. Hyuga Naruto explained slowly. There should be no definite conclusion to be drawn from this. Kakashi suddenly said. It may be that someone got another eye, and then it also opened to the level of kaleidoscope. Since I, a non-Uchiha, can do it, then it's not impossible for others to do it, right. Kakashi didn't say Obito's name. However, at this time, even Kai felt something was wrong. Then why didn't he kill you? Metkai said with confusion. The other party was the murderer who released the Nine Tails and killed the Yondaime couple. He had previously attacked the village with Hiruzen Sarutobi and tried to take away Naruto. Such a guy, after attacking Kakashi, why didn't he kill him? Maybe there are other reasons. Kakashi was silent for a long time before saying. Ha! Hinata Naruto chuckled lightly. It doesn't matter if you don't have the Sharingan, this thing is a complete drag on your talent. Hyuga Naruto can see that after Kakashi lost his Sharingan, his chakra volume increased several times. This chakra volume even made him qualified to practice senjutsu. Take off the bandage. Hyuga Naruto didn't dwell on this matter anymore. It was only at the level of a kaleidoscope without being strengthened by the power of 6 paths. Kakashi didn't know why, but he still took off the bandage on his left eye. On Hinata Naruto's right hand, green chakra emerged and was quickly completed. Well, your eyes have recovered. My left eye is back. Kakashi felt his left eye socket bulge, and suddenly something appeared. It wasn't the lost Sharingan. It was the original eye that was completely in line with his own bloodline. Surprisingly, you can even do this kind of thing now. Kakashi looked at the mirror handed over by Kai and said a little absently. Your yin escape level seems to have increased a lot. Hyuga Naruto said, staring at the part of Kakashi's mind. He could see that in Kakashi's mind, there was a high-intensity special chakra. Both in terms of personality and nature, it was the same as the Mangekyo Sharingan. Did you turn on the kaleidoscope when you were fighting that masked man? Hyuga Naruto asked casually. Kakashi should have awakened the kaleidoscope a long time ago. However, it has been turned off. I'm not sure if it's turned on or not. Kakashi's spirit seemed to have recovered a little, and he thought for a while and said. However, while fighting that person, I felt a surge of chakra flowing from my brain to my left eye. After that, I immediately lost consciousness and was in a coma for several days. Hyuga Naruto. What should I say? As expected of you. Metkai nodded repeatedly and said. Yes. Fortunately, a famous doctor named Shennon happened to be in Konoha at the time and helped Kakashi take a look. Otherwise, Kakashi might still be unconscious now. Shennon, where is he? Hyuga Naruto suddenly heard the name and frowned. Could this Shennon be the leader of the Kong ninja village? He has left the village, what happened to him? Midi said doubtfully. Left. Hyuga Naruto shook his head and said. If you meet him next time, remember to keep him. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 140. Somewhere in the land of rain. Uchiha Obito's left eye has been equipped with a kaleidoscope obtained from Kakashi. How are your eyes adapting? Black Zetsu asked in a hoarse voice. It's really not easy to persuade Obito. I don't know what kind of magic power that Kakashi has. Obito is so willing to get back the eyes that belong to him. Resist. Not bad. Obito said in a relaxed tone. Although he had to attack Kakashi, it has to be said. After putting together a pair of kaleidoscopes, his pupil power increased by an unknown amount. Can Susanoo be turned on? This is Black Zetsu's biggest concern. With Susanoo, at least Obito's ability to protect himself will be much stronger. At least, he won't be easily hacked to death all the time. Oh, Susanoo. Obito chuckled twice, and the blue skeleton instantly wrapped him around him. It's a pity that this place is too small, otherwise, I could easily activate the third form. Obito had a confident smile on his lips. In the information left by Uchiha Madara, there are very detailed records of Susanoo. From the initial form with only ribs and arms, to the first skeleton-like form. From being able to attack from a distance second form to a stronger third form. I have completely mastered it. Black Zetsu nodded. According to Uchiha Madara's experience, the most powerful ordinary kaleidoscope can only be opened in the third form. Susanoo in this form is stronger than the second form that can use Yasaka's Megatama. But, consumes pupil power very quickly, and is extremely unstable. You were still too soft-handed. You should have been more decisive when retrieving the eyes. Black Zetsu sighed helplessly. However, this is already very rare. It is difficult to do if you want Obito to fast forward directly to kill Kakashi. Obito's face darkened and he changed the subject directly. How's the situation with Kumogakure? Will either side take out Yagura? Hearing this, Heiju suddenly fell silent. Baiju, his possessed body, smiled and said. There is good news and bad news, Obito, which one do you want to hear first? Obito didn't even frown, and said with an unhappy expression. Don't call me random names. I have told you so many times, you can call me Madara or Afe. Shaked his head and didn't care too much about Baiju. The good news? Baiju replied with a smile. The good news is that the fourth Mizukage Goda Kibana Yagura is dead. Snored. Obito sneered. Letting him die so easily was really an advantage to him. However, Obito quickly thought of something wrong. Yagura is dead, but what about the three tails inside him? If the three-tailed animal dies, they will have to wait for a while for the three-tailed animal to be resurrected before they can capture it. The three tails were not dead, but were captured by Hyuga. Heizetsu said with a stern face. If he hadn't been covered in darkness to begin with, Obito would have seen that Heizetsu's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. When he received the news from Baizetsu, he was almost so angry on the spot. Damn you. You shouldn't, the tailed beast fell into the hands of the person who shouldn't be in it. They snatched the three tails from Kirigakure's hands, and followed Hinatan Nariku to snatch the three tails. It's not a difficult thing at all. Hyuga Nariku. Obito frowned. What is he going to do by taking Sanwei away? Baiju spoke again at this time. Not only the three tails, but the 8 tails of Cloud Hidden Village were also brought back to Konoha after being sealed by Hyuga Nariku. Hey! Ju said with some uncertainty. Could it be that he is collecting tailed beasts? Before, just taking away 8 tails may not be considered a big deal. It can be understood as a trophy. But this time, take away 3 tails directly from Kirigakure village. This has to make him think more. He has worked hard for 1,000 in the year, a pair of reincarnation eyes finally appeared on Uchiha Madara. Now, something went wrong on the side of the tailed beast. Black Zetsu even wanted to vomit blood. Where did this Hyuga Nariku come from? Now he has completely become the biggest obstacle to the Eye project. However, they still can't get rid of him. You must collect tailed beasts in advance. Obito said after thinking for a while. He has even taken back the eye he gave to Kakashi. The Eye of the Moon plan must succeed. Also, the strength of the Akatsuki organization must be improved. Obito said with a serious face. Heiju also nodded. The one named Beira who has joined Akatsuki, and the Inamera technique he is studying seems very interesting. Baiju is currently looking for the guy named Shen Nang, who is suspected to be the leader of the destroyed Kong ninja village. There is a ninja in Tang country who seems to be immortal, but he is still a little young now. Heiju said little by little. By Liahuo, what is his strength? Obito read softly and asked. The Akatsuki organization can't ask for everything. At least, don't go on a mission with Kakuzu and it will become a bounty. The current strength is not optimistic, but he said that if Onigara's technique is successful, he will have invincible power in the world. Tisk. Obito couldn't help but laugh. Invincible in the world? How dare you say that? Black Zetsu's thoughts are similar to Obito's. In their opinion, Bailahu's knowledge is just that. He has no ordinary bloodline at all. But you want to have invincible power all at once. It's ridiculous. You should wake up when Hinatan Nariku's thousand-armed Buddha slaps him into the ground. Although we can't count on Bailahu to help us defeat Hinatan Nariku, if the Inamera technique succeeds, he will also be a good helper. Heiju said slowly. But Heiju took out a list. That Bailahu asked the Akatsuki organization to help capture ninjas with these blood inheritance limits. The Akatsuki organization supports him in completing the Oni Mylogo Jutsu, which is the condition for him to agree to join the Akatsuki organization. Obito took the list and looked at it. Wood release, Sharingan, Swift release, Dark release, Steel shield, Arashi release, Burning release, Crystal release. As he thought about it, Obito almost laughed out of anger. He really dared to think. I still want wood release. How many people in the ninja world know wood release now? Do you want me to help him capture Hinatan Nariku? The same goes for the Sharingan. Why doesn't he go to Konoha to catch an Uchiha ninja himself? Heiju remained silent and nodded secretly in his heart. This Bailahu really dared to speak like a lion. Except for wood release and Sharingan, other Swift release, Steel shield, and Ming release have all taken over the mission. Our team can choose one from the rest. A team of 2 people from the Akatsuki organization all took on a mission to capture someone. Obito is now considered a formal member of the Akatsuki organization, and he and his team also have to take on a mission. Land done, how is the situation in Union Village? Uchiha Obito asked, looking at the list. That old guy Oniki led a team to surround Union Village, and they are still in a stalemate. Heiju replied simply. In this case, it would be difficult to start. Obito frowned slightly. Kumogakure must be on high alert now. It would be difficult for him to enter Kumogakure under such circumstances and select a ninja with the limits of Arashi's blood succession. Just choose burning escape. Obito thought for a while and said. Isn't there a burnt release ninja named Yakang in Sand Hidden Village? Yakura's reputation as the burning release master has already emerged during the Third Ninja World War. It also saves them the time to select targets. Just in time, you can go to Sand Hidden Village to catch the one-tailed one. Obito said with confidence. Black Zetsu also nodded. Hyuga Nariku suddenly took away 2 tailed beasts. He also had a sense of urgency. The tailed beasts should be captured a little earlier. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 141. The Land of Wind. In the dusty desert. Yakang, the burning release ninja who is known as the hero of Tsunagakure, and 3 Tsunagakure ninjas are moving forward quickly. Make sure you don't lose the agreement scroll on you. Yakang turned around and gave another warning to a Tsunagakure ninja. Their team of 4 went to Kirigakure to sign a peace agreement this time. If the scroll of the agreement is lost in the desert, there is no hope of retrieving it. Come. Yes. A Tsunagakure ninja nodded seriously. At the same time, he looked at each other with the other 2 companions. Their mission this time is not just that. Wait, what is that? A Tsunagakure ninja suddenly widened his eyes. In the dark yellow sky in the distance, a light blue stream of light was rapidly approaching here. Is that a person? Yakang looked at it intently, with a bit of surprise in his tone. Soon. Hyuga Nariku, who was flying all the way, also noticed the figure below and landed. Is your direction going to the Kingdom of Water? Hyuga Nariku looked at a few people with a playful expression, and focused on Yakang. Yes, it is the 5th Hokage of Konoha. a Tsunagakure ninja said with a trembling voice. He saw the god-controlling robe with red fire patterns on the white background behind Hinata Nariku. Your Excellency, the fifth Hokage, why did you suddenly come to our country of wind? Yakura stared at Hinata Nariku with a wary look. However, the three Tsunagakure ninjas next to him looked at each other and retreated directly. They didn't think that the Hokage of Konoha suddenly came to the Wind Country to do anything good. Moreover, it is not possible to retreat at this time. No shame. When Konoha White Fang was here, you could give up the mission and retreat directly if you encountered him. Later, the Golden Flash galloping in the ninja world also got the same treatment. Shunshen Shisui, who was closer, you could choose to give up the mission directly when you encountered him. Now the one I met was the fifth Hokage of Konoha. So, it's okay to just give up on the mission, right? At least you can save yourself. Want to run? The corner of Hyuga Nariku's mouth moved, and gravity exploded when he raised his hand. Well. What's the situation? My body is out of control. The bodies of the three Tsunagakure ninjas who were running away were sucked back. Tisk tisk tisk. Several yin-yang escape black sticks nailed the limbs of several people, nailing the three Tsunagakure ninjas to the ground. Hokage Dano, what does this mean? Yakang was facing a formidable enemy. She suddenly appeared in the Kingdom of Wind and even attacked her companions. However, she had heard about Hyuga Nariku's achievements and did not dare to take action directly. Are you going to Kirigakure to perform a mission? Hyuga Nariku looked at Yakang curiously. In the original work, the fourth Kazekage of Tsunagakure asked Yakang to go to Kirigakure in the name of a mission. However, in fact, he treated Yakang as an abandoned son and as a partner to Kirigakure. The conditions for negotiating peace. As a result, Hayakura, the hero of Tsunagakure who had no idea about these, died at the hands of Kirigakure. And after that, what was even more disgusting was the fourth Kazekage announced that Hayakura died of Iwagakure during the battle. Moreover, he used this to unite the Tsunagakure ninjas and fight Iwagakure. In Hyuga Nariku's view, the death of Hayakura is a more confusing event than the death of Hinata Hisashi. Hinata Hisashi committed suicide after all. In the original work, Yakang was shot into a sieve by Kirigakure's Konao and Shuriken. We went to Kirigakure for peace talks, and we had no intention of harming Konoha. Yakura is not putting on airs at all. She doesn't think that she, plus the three Tsunagakure ninjas who have been restrained, can be her opponent. Even the most belligerent Kumogakure village has been defeated by the fifth Hokage in front of her. Fight until you lose your temper. Try to keep the other party from taking action, then they will be more likely to survive. Are you really going for peace talks? Hyuga Nariku asked softly, reaching out his hand to a Tsunagakure ninja. The light blue reincarnation chakra was attached to his hand, and he took out the opponent's memory light ball. You. The Tsunagakure ninja's body trembled. In the moment just now, his brain seemed to have become naked, without any privacy. Knew it? Hyuga Nariku chuckled and said. The real mission of the three of them this time is to hand you over to the Kirigakure ninja for execution. This is the real condition for peace talks between Tsunagakure and Kirigakure. Yakang subconsciously denied. Absurd. How could there be such nonsense? However, what puzzled her was that the three Tsunagakure ninjas did not subconsciously refute. You. Yakang looked at his three companions with doubtful eyes. An idea that made her brain tremble couldn't stop appearing. Could it be that what the fifth Hokage of Konoha said was true, this mission was actually to betray her? Nonsense. After being shocked, a Tsunagakure ninja next to him finally couldn't help but speak. We went to sign a peace agreement with Kirigakure, how could we betray Captain Yakang? That is. Another Tsunagakure ninja said with a trembling voice. The captain is our Tsunagakure hero, how could we betray her? If this kind of thing were to be revealed, there would be no need for Konoha's Hokage to take action. Yakang would directly tear the three of them alive. Hello. Say something. The two shouted at the ninja whose memory was searched. However, the sweat on the forehead of the ninja whose memory was searched dropped drop by drop, and he was completely unable to speak. His memory has been seen, it's all gone. How could there be such a method? I'm curious as to why your fourth Hokage made such a decision. Hyuga Naruto shook his head and said. In the original work, Yakang's death was very confusing. Here, Yakang's mission this time is still very confusing. Kumogakure just started a war with Konoha and lost. Iwagakure village is currently at war with Kumogakure. For what purpose did your Fenying make such a decision? For Konoha, the Third Ninja War basically ended around Konoha 47. However, after the Nine Tails Rebellion and the death of the fourth generation couple, some villages began to prepare for trouble again. For example, Iwagakure and Kumogakure. These two villages are the ones that have retained the most combat power after the three wars. Kumogakure originally had great potential for war, but was severely injured by Obito. Although Konoha has many talents, it always falls on all sides. Enemy. Tsunagakure. Needless to say, Tsunagakure is the weakest among the 5 great ninja villages. Even like one of the 5 great ninja villages. Nonsense. The Tsunagakure ninja said stiffly. It's impossible for Kazekage-sama to do such a thing. Enough. Yet. Kang, who had been silent next to him, shouted angrily. Are these bastards trying to fool her as a fool? Captain, don't believe his sow discord, gu. The Tsunagakure ninja was still talking when he saw Yakang stab a kunao into his throat. I will go find Luosha and find out what happened. Yakang spoke with a cold expression. With a slight stroke of the kunao in his hand, the lives of the other 2 people were killed. However, she basically believed Hinata Naruko's words in her heart. If Hinata Naruko was really talking nonsense, these 3 people a bastard, he must have subconsciously thought it was ridiculous like her. However, these 3 people were immediately stunned. Apparently they didn't react because they were hit. That's why they didn't have time to refute immediately. And one day, on the one hand, Hyuga Naruko, the 5th Hokage of Konoha, does not need to waste these words with the 4 of them. On the other hand, even if the other party really wants to sow discord, they should choose some more reliable rhetoric. PS feels like 4 Hokage is quite confusing, from the death of Hyakura, to sending people to assassinate Gaara, and then to attacking Konoha with Orochimaru by taking advantage of the opportunity of the Chuunin exam. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 142. I will help you create conditions for revenge. Hyuga Naruko said to Yakang with a smile on his face. However, you still have to do the specific revenge on the 4th Hokage yourself. Yakang nodded. This is exactly what I want. However, all the Tsunagakure ninjas will stop him from assassinating the Hokage in Tsunagakure village. Can you stop the entire Tsunagakure village by yourself? Yakang asked with a slight frown. She knew that Hinata Naruko had used Kumogakure's combination alone. She also knew that Kumogakure village was directly bulldozed after the last battle. But that battle inside Kumogakure village, few people know the details. She is a little worried about whether Hyuga Naruko, the 5th Hokage, can stop the entire Tsunagakure village ninjas. You don't need to worry about these. Hyuga Naruko said while heading towards the direction of Tsunagakure village. The 4th Hokage is not an honest person. In the original book, he colluded with Orochimaru to attack Konoha during the Chuunin exam. Tsunagakure village still has not cleared up enough. What is the current situation in Tsunagakure village? Do Cho and Ebizo still hold any positions? Hyuga Naruko asked casually. Has been retired for many years. Yakang shook his head and said. Although she didn't know what Hyuga Nariku's purpose was. But just helping her get revenge was enough for her to be grateful. Therefore, even if it was the information of Sunagakure village, she now feels at ease with betraying it. Yes. Sunagakure village betrayed her first. After the large-scale war ended, Elder Cho and Elder Ebizo could no longer live in seclusion. Nowadays, the affairs of the village are basically controlled by the Fourth Hokage alone. Hyuga Nariku nodded and continued to ask. What about the Jinchuriki? Hearing this, Yakang's expression suddenly became much more solemn. The current one-tailed Jinchuriki is the youngest son of the Fourth Hokage. His name is Gaara. He is only 5 years old this year. Ever since Gaara became a Jinchuriki, the power of the tailed beasts has been violent many times. After asking a few simple questions, Hinatan Nariku shook his head and said. There are really not many people in Sand Hidden Village. Younger ones, except for the Fourth Hokage Raza and you, there is no one who can take the lead. Then, you will be sent out to be killed by Kumogakure. Yakang choked, feeling tight in his chest. The murderous intention towards the Fourth Hokage deepened in his heart. Soon, the two of them had seen the sand-hidden village not far away. In the middle of the tall rock wall, there was a long and narrow passage leading to go inside. Yakang pointed to the passage from a distance. That's the only way to enter Sunagakure village. There are always people stationed at the entrance of the passage. If you enter from here, you will definitely be noticed. Yakang looked at the fifth Hokage's godly robe that Hinatan Nariku was wearing. His eyes were a little subtle. This person was too flamboyant. He just wore the Hokage's robe and came to the Kingdom of Wind. He didn't put Sand Hidden Village at all in the eyes. Hinatan Nariku nodded, reached out and grabbed Yakang's shoulder. In this case, just fly in directly. As he said that, the repulsive force exploded, taking Yakang directly into the sky. Yakang was caught without any precautions. He felt his feet light up, and flew high into the sky in the next second. Below, the entire sand-hidden village came into view. Fly, fly up. Yakang muttered to himself somewhat absent-mindedly. Suddenly, she remembered. When I met the other party before, it seemed that the other party had flown all the way here. In the Hokage building. Time has entered night. Luosha, the fourth-generation Hokage, looked in a direction outside the window, dazed. The Jounin of Sunagakure village, Maki, hesitated for a long time before speaking. Lord Hokage, it's probably not too late to ask Yakang to come back now. Based on the distance, even if Yakang is running at the fastest speed, he should not have left the country of the wind yet. Maji also knows the truth about Yakang's mission. It is said to be a peace agreement. In fact, this peace the agreement also includes a condition that will not be written down. Sunagakure hands over the burning release ninja Hagakura. The fourth Hokage was silent for a long time before sighing and saying. This is no longer possible. With Yakang's character, if he knows the truth of the matter, it is absolutely impossible to forgive him. Moreover, the matter has been done. We can only proceed according to the original plan. Starting tomorrow, prepare the village for war. That old guy Onaki happens to be not in Iwagakure village. I hope this raid can capture some territory from the Kingdom of Earth. Maji nodded silently. Onoki, the third-generation Tsuchikage of Iwagakure village, and Huangtu, the son of the third-generation Tsuchikage, all went to Kumogakure village together. If they attack at this time, there is still a high chance of success. I have no other choice. The image of the fourth-generation Feng said in defense of himself. The village is getting poorer and poorer now. Originally, after the defeat in the Third War, the daimyo's allocation to the village was reduced a lot. After the fifth Hokage of Konoha directly led the Konoha ninjas to bulldoze Kumogakure, the daimyo's allocation became even less. What can I say, with a powerful allied ninja village like Konoha, Tsunagakure's military expenditures don't need to be that high at all. The fourth Kazekage said this with uncontrollable anger in his eyes. After the 3 disastrous defeats, Tsunagakure began the elite training route of ninjas. It was said to be elite. In fact, they had no money to train them. Too many ninjas. In the past few years, Tsunagakure village's finances could barely be maintained by relying on his use of magnetic escape to pan for gold. However, after Hyuga Nariku's battle against Kumogakure, the daimyo reduced the allocation again. Tsunagakure villages the finances are completely unsustainable. Sand Hidden Village needs a victory, and the Kingdom of Wind needs more territory. The fourth Kazekage said firmly. This is the purpose of his raid on the Earth Country. With the current situation of Tsunagakure village, there is no chance of winning in an all-out war with Iwagakure village. However, if we take advantage of Onaki's expedition, capture some territory. After this, Tsunagakure can still hold on to this territory. If successful, the Wind Country will have more tax revenue, and the daimyo's view of Tsunagakure village will also change. For this goal, we must reach a peace agreement with Kirigakure as soon as possible. When raiding the land of Earth, Tsunagakure cannot be attacked from behind. For this reason, it is worth sacrificing Hagakura to allow Tsunagakure and Kirigakure to reach an agreement as soon as possible. The fourth Kazekage closed his eyes and said slowly. Maki sighed, not knowing what to say. Even if it was for the future of Tsunagakure village, he would treat the hero of his village as an abandoned son to be killed by others. It's really unacceptable. But, at least, Gaara is still so young. Is it too early to be sent to the battlefield now? Maki said after a long silence. Before, the fourth Kazekage told him that Gaara would also join the battle when he raided the Earth Kingdom. Gaara is only 5 years old this year. This is my last temptation, he must become the strength of the village. The fourth generation Kazekage said coldly. If he can't show his value, it's better to replace him with a Jinhyuriki as soon as possible. Who did you send to assassinate him? Maki asked with a frown. Before this, the fourth Kazekage had sent people to assassinate Gaara many times. Yashapil. The fourth Kazekage crossed his arms and said coldly. Yashimaru is the younger brother of his wife Garuru and Gaara's uncle. He is the only person in the village who is close to Gaara. If you still can't master Shikaku's power after this, you will have no choice but to change to another Jinhyuriki. Yashimaru. Maki's eyes widened. Let Gaara's most trusted Yashimaru take action. Gaara will go crazy, right? At this moment, a sharp scream came over. Kill you! Kill you! There was obvious excitement in the voice. It was like a naughty child who had been holding it in at home for an unknown amount of time and was finally let out. Shikaku! The fourth Kazekige's pupils shrank suddenly. This voice was very familiar to him. It was the voice of Ichibai Shikaku. Looking out the window where the sound came from, he saw the huge figure of Shikaku with his tail spread out. What happened? The fourth Kazekige's face was filled with shock. Even if Gaara couldn't control Shikaku's power, he wouldn't let Shikaku go berserk and break the seal so quickly, right? What happened? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 143. Sand Hidden Village, in a dark corner. Uchiha Obito and Zetsu had already sneaked in. Even if Tsunagakure is surrounded by tall rock walls on all sides, it is not difficult for the two of them to sneak in. Obito possesses divine power and can easily sneak into any place. And Zetsu's Mayfly technique is also a ninjutsu that is convenient for sneaking in. Even Baizetsu has just returned from exploring the Sunagakure village. When he activates the mayfly technique, he can block all auras. Almost integrated with nature. Moreover, Baiju also has a unique transformation technique. Can transform into anyone and even imitate the exact same chakra aura. In the Akatsuki organization, Zetsu's position is also to detect intelligence. How about it? Have you found out the information about Hagura and the one-tailed Jinhyuriki? Uchiha Obito said in a leisurely manner. He has two goals here this time. One is to help Beireho capture the burnt ninja Yekara as experimental material for an Amara's technique. The other is to capture Ichibai in advanced Shikaku. However, from Obito's point of view, neither of these are difficult. A few years ago, he sneaked into Konoha and almost succeeded in capturing the strongest tailed beast Nine Tails. But now, the strength of Sunagakure village is far greater, not as good as Konoha. Shikaku's strength is even worse than the Kyuubi. After gathering the Mangekyo and mastering Susanoo, Obito's confidence has skyrocketed. Yekang is not in Sunagakure village, he seems to have gone to Kirigakure on a mission. I heard that they were going to Kirigakure to discuss peace, and they just set off today. Baiju shook his head and replied with a sense of pity. Kirigakure. Uchiha Obito frowned. Then he suddenly chuckled twice. I'm afraid it may not be to perform a mission, right? Seeing the uncomprehending look, Uchiha Obito explained. When I was controlling Yagura, the direct peace talks between Kirigakure and Sunagakure were at a stalemate. One of Kirigakure's conditions is for Sunagakure to hand over Sunagakure's hero, the burning release ninja Hayakura. Because Yekang killed many Kirigakure ninjas in the 3 battles, there were people in Kirigakure who kept insisting on this condition. Heiju was stunned, and then suddenly realized. Kirigakure clearly hated Hagura so much, yet the 4th Kazekage sent Hagura to negotiate peace. Heiju smiled coldly and said nothing further. At this point, even Baiju understood and said with some surprise. Sunagakure village sent that Yekang to negotiate peace. Could it be that he wanted her to die? Uchiha Obito sneered twice and said. These shadows of a village are very skilled at causing harm to their own people. If that guy Hinatan Nariku knew, he might even sympathize with him. Yakura's experience is very similar to Hinatan Nariku's previous situation. Hinatan Nariku was raped because of Kumogakure's gangster conditions, and the Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to hand him over to settle the matter. Yekara was arrested because of Kirigakure's unreasonable demands. The 4th Kazekage, Raza, was sent to die to negotiate peace with Kirigakure. Black Zetsu also smiled sadly and said. However, this Yekang cannot have the strength of Hyuga Nariku. Internally, Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others tried their best to kill Hyuga Nariku. Externally, Hyuga Nariku even beat Kumogakure village to the point where it was almost wiped out. One such freak is enough. Black Zetsu doesn't think so at all. Yekang can do the same thing. But aren't we going to catch her? What should we do now? Ju asked aloud. Yekang is not in Sand Hidden Village now, and may die soon. Aren't they here to arrest people? If not, just replace it? Uchiha Obito said indifferently. Anyway, there are many choices on the call list. In addition to burning release, doesn't Sunagakure also have magnetic release? Isn't the 4th Kazekage a magnetic release blood successor ninja? Union Village also has magnetic escape, Lan escape and melting escape. Iwagakure Village has molten escape and explosive escape. Just grab any one and take it back. In Uchiha Obito's view, after mastering the kaleidoscope, he is confident that he can capture even the 4th Kazekage Raza in Sunagakure village. However, the one-tailed Jinhyuriki can still be captured by the way. Obito said with a chuckle. Black Zetsu nodded and said. The residence of the one-tailed Jinhyuriki has been explored. Come with me. The rooftop of Gaara's residence. The one who sent me to assassinate you, is Lord Kazekage. I think deep down in my heart, I must hate you. I exchanged my favorite sister's life for you. I tried hard to make myself like you, but I couldn't. My sister didn't want to give birth to you at all. Your name was chosen for you by your sister. Gaara, Shure who only loves himself. With her hatred for the village, she will continue to exist. This is what your sister thinks of you. You have never been loved by anyone. Yoshimaru said this designed line while he was dying. This was the task given to him by the fourth Kazekage Raza. Let him use Gaara's mother to stimulate Gaara. If you can suppress Shikaku, you will be a qualified Jinhuriki. Ah! Gaara, who had broken red hair and thick dark circles under his eyes, let out a heartbreaking cry. The ferocious and evil chakra began to go berserk. Kill you! Kill you! Gaara's eyes were still filled with tears. His mouth was open, and saliva continued to flow down. A beast-like arm suddenly emerged from his right arm. An earthy yellow tail slowly moved behind Gaara. Swinging. Under the huge emotional stimulation, Gaara went berserk and even entered the form of a half-tailed beast. This is... Obito and Zetsu felt dazed for a while just after the incident. Especially Ju. Wasn't he fine when he came here just now to check? Why is it like this now? Kill you! You are all going to die! Gaara roared crazily. Kill them, and his existence will be maintained. As soon as he raised his hand, a large amount of flying sand was shot out like bullets. Cut! Uchiha Obito curled his lips, and his eyes instantly opened to a kaleidoscope. Divine power. In the past, when he only had his right eye, if he wanted to bring others into the divine space, he had to catch them. Now that he has the kaleidoscope in his left eye, he can directly use long-range attacks to bring the target into the divine space. As long as he after entering the Kamui space. I didn't just let him do whatever he wanted. The sand around Gaara seemed to sense danger and was flying crazily. It's useless. Uchiha Obito sneered. Controlling the sand is nothing more than a ninjutsu attack. No matter what, you can't escape his divine power. The young Gaara felt this incomprehensible tearing force, and a panic filled his brain. Completely unconscious. At the same time, one-tailed Shikaku took the opportunity to quickly invade Gaara's consciousness and took over Gaara's body. With the overwhelming momentum, Shikaku's huge and bloated body covered the surrounding buildings. Destroy! Yaha! Out! Out! You two little bugs! Kill you! Kill you! Shikaku first shouted excitedly to the sky twice, then pointed at Obito and Zetsu arrogantly and shouted. Obito! Damn, miscalculation. The seal of Sand Hidden Village is too unreliable. Shikaku could break through the seal so easily. Also, who did Shikaku learn this silly look from? Can this tailed beast be more serious? In the distance, Luosha, the fourth Kazekage and his people rushed over quickly. Who are you? Is it the one you two released? The fourth Kazekage looked at the mysterious Obito and Zetsu and asked. These two people. One has a strange whirlpool mask. The other has a strange pitcher plant growing on his body. He is half black and half white. They are not alike. What a serious person. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 144. Uchiha Obito felt a little like swearing. It was obvious that he was just arresting a 5-year-old Jinchuriki. In the end, there was still such a big movement. But it's just a little more trouble. A mere sand-hidden village. He doesn't take it seriously now. Originally I just wanted to grab Yaiwei and leave. The corner of Uchiha Obito's mask raised a playful smile and said. Since you came so quickly, let's make it more lively. Let Tsunagakure be the first to see the great power of Susanoo. As he spoke, cyan-like chakra quickly condensed in front of him. Susanoo! Uchiha Obito shouted. Susanoo, complete with flesh and bones and wearing Kiratengu armor, suddenly appeared. What is this? The fourth Kazekige's eyes widened. The height of this strange cyan giant actually surpassed Shikaku. It's actually Susanoo in his third form, and he's so stable. There was a hint of surprise in Black Zetsu's tone. Uchiha Susanoo, the first form is a skeletal giant. The second form has more flesh and skin. As for the third form, it is even covered with Kiratengu armor. Defense. Not only has it been greatly improved, its destructive power has also been greatly enhanced. According to Uchiha Madara's research, an ordinary kaleidoscope can be opened to the third form at most. Moreover, even if it is open to the third form, it is very unstable and cannot last for long at all. However, Uchiha Obito's current Susanoo completely broke this rule. He didn't look unstable at all and easily maintained his third form. Obito is really awesome, he is worthy of being the successor of Madara. Bye. Zetsu said with a tone of admiration. The pupil power of Uchiha Obito's pair of kaleidoscopes is much higher than that of ordinary kaleidoscopes. One tail, nothing more. Uchiha Obito crossed his arms and said disdainfully. In Susanoo's hands, two chakra swords emerged, slashing the golden sand entangled in Shikaku Mountain with the fourth Kazekage. Is this Susanoo? Shikaku's huge brass-colored eyes showed a look of horror. Shikaku, who has lived for thousands of years, has naturally seen the ultimate power of the Uchiha clan. Bastard, don't underestimate Tsunagakure village. The fourth generation Fengying looked cold, cursed angrily, and quickly formed seals in his hands. Magnetic escape, placer gold realm method. The golden sand in the sky turned into sharp spears and attacked Susanoo and Shikaku. So fragile. Uchiha Obito sneered disdainfully and watched directly as the gold sand spear pierced Susanoo's body. Under the defense of Kiraten Dog's armor, the gold sand spear had almost no effect. At this moment, a huge his tail rolled up Susanoo. Shikaku also took action. Compared to the fourth Kazekage, what he hated and feared more was Uchiha's Sharingan. The fourth Kazekige's magnetic release, at most restrain him physically. And Uchiha's Sharingan can directly control him with genjutsu, teasing him like a toy. How dare a mere beast resist? In Uchiha Obito's eyes, the kaleidoscope pattern in the shape of a three-edged shuriken suddenly enlarged. Hateful. It's the Sharingan again. Shikaku roared unwillingly. However, the Mangekyo Sharingan's control of the tailed beast was completely unreasonable. His consciousness sank quickly, and a large amount of pupil power poured in, controlling Shikaku's consciousness. Soon, Shikaku's huge brass eyes turned into a scarlet Sharingan pattern. It's so weak, it's much easier to control than Kuwabai. Uchiha Obito chuckled. During the Nine Tails Rebellion in Konoha, he used Uchiha Madara's psychic contract to release the Nine Tails. Moreover, at that time, he only had a single-eyed kaleidoscope, and his control was still the strongest. Kuwabai. The difficulty is much higher than it is now. So, let's reappear, Tsunagakure, like Konoha, feel this hellish pain. Uchiha Obito said in a low voice. Under his control, Shikaku began to wreak havoc crazily in Tsunagakure village. Any building, in front of Shikaku's huge figure, was as fragile as clay. That's the Sharingan. The fourth Kazekige's eyes widened. He had only heard that Konoha's Uchiha had the ability to control tailed beasts. This was the first time he had actually seen it. Are you the mysterious person who planned the Nine Tails Rebellion with Hiruzen Sarutobi and killed the fourth Hokage of Konoha? The fourth Kazekage recalled the information sent back from Konoha and said in a deep voice. Without waiting for Obito's reply, he started to form seals directly. We can't let Shikaku continue to wreak havoc. Magnetic escape, placer gold cube. The gold sand all over the sky gathered together to form a tight and huge cube, and crashed hard towards Shikaku. However, Uchiha Obito Susanoo stood directly in front of Shikaku. "Your opponent is me," Uchiha Obito said nonchalantly. Susanoo pulled out the long sword in his hand and violently slashed the heavy sand gold cube. Immediately afterwards, Susanoo continued to slash at the fourth Kazekage. Chi! The sword turned into chakra cut into a large amount of gold sand, and was slowly weakened and blocked for a moment. The fourth Kazekage quickly retreated, and saw that the gold sand that had been blocked in a hurry was directly split with a knife. "Damn it!" The fourth Fenying cursed lowly and ordered. "Maji, go and invite Elder Cho and Elder Ebizo over. Only his magnetic release in Sunagakure village can suppress Shikaku. Someone must hold back the Saiyan giant of a mysterious masked man so that he can have time to deal with Shikaku." "Yes." Maki didn't hesitate, turned around and ran quickly in the other direction. "Umbu, send a group of people to organize the villagers to evacuate." The fourth Kazekage frowned and ordered. He felt what Namikaze Minato felt back then. Originally, even if he used assassination to test Gaara's potential, Shikaku would not be able to completely break the seal. No. Thinking that this mysterious person happened to be targeting Ichibai. As a result, Shikaku broke out of the village directly. Even now, he is controlled by the other party. Oh, why do weak people still struggle so hard? Uchiha Obito didn't mean to stop him at all, and said with a chuckle. "As long as you obediently hand over the one tail, and you, the Kazekage, don't have to continue to struggle like this. The original target Yekang is not here, so just capture the Fenying who masters magnetic escape. Anyway, there is also magnetic escape as an option on Baileahu's list." "Dream." The fourth Kazekage's face darkened and he yelled angrily. Handing over the one tail is not enough, but he, the Kazekage, is also required to hand over himself? What does this mean for their Sunagakure village? "I am the Kazekage of Sunagakure village. You are just one person. After all, there is no way you can fight against our entire Sunagakure village." "What about Kazekage?" Uchiha Obito asked disdainfully. "The fourth Hokage of Konoha still died in my hands. Even if Hinatan Nariku, the fifth Hokage of Konoha, is here, it will be useless." "Yeah." A voice with a joking tone came over. Hinatan Nariku took Yekang down from the sky and slowly landed on the ground.